have not seen my previous video, this is a wig making tutorial for those who don't want to sew. Lace closure wig, really easy, really simple. If you haven't seen that, be sure to check out the description box. I will link it below. So we are working with MyFirstWig hair bundles. Let's get into this frontal first and foremost. Look at all this parting space. This is a 13 by 6 inch frontal. You got 6 inches to do whatever you want to do, baby. Like, okay, I gotta stop saying baby. But anyway, we'll get into the frontal a little later. But I got 4 bundles, all the same inches. This is their Malaysian straights in about 20 inches. So the first thing you want to do is measure your head. You want to measure your head because you want everything to fit right. I'm measuring from ear to ear. So my measurements from my ear to the other ear is about 11.5. So you want to make sure that your frontal matches that, because if it doesn't, then it's not going to fit. So really throughout this tutorial, I'm really going to focus on measuring, because that's the key to having your stuff fit perfectly. If the person who making y'all wigs ain't measuring y'all heads, then you need to get a new wig lady. Okay, now once you take your measurements, go down maybe an inch or two. I measured at 11.5, so I actually went to like a 10, which I should have did like a 9.5. But once you measure that, make markings. As you can see, that pink marking is where I'm going to be cutting off. That way, when you apply your frontal to your wig cap, it's going to stretch, and you want it to fit perfectly. Like, you want it to fit perfectly. So once you cut off those tabs, you can kind of see, like, boom, I'm right there at 10. I would suggest going down at least 2 inches. So if you measure at a 12, then go down to 10 inches. If you measure at 11.5, go down to 9.5. That way, once you construct your wig, your frontal will lay very flat, and you won't really need like the elastic bands and all that jazz. So moving on, at this part right here, I did take the measuring tape, and I basically measured the top of my ear all the way to where my hairline starts. And that was about 2 inches. I want to make sure that I know the measurement within that area, so that I know where to lay my frontal on my wig cap. And once you do that to both sides, make sure that the front part of your frontal is about 2 inches forward of the cap, and then you're ready to start sewing down. At this point, it is totally fine for you to sew right through that band at the bottom. Now, I don't suggest doing that later on, and we will talk about that towards the end of the video. So just sew like you would normally. I like to go from side to side so that my frontal lays very flat and I can stretch it as I sew. Now, keep in mind, you guys, when you're sewing down your frontal to the cap, a key to getting it to lay super flat is making sure that your stitching is super close. Because once your stitching is not close, you're giving basically an opportunity for spacing and bulging to appear throughout your frontal, and we don't want that. Now, the cap that I'm using is from my local beauty supply store. It's just a standard dome cap. You can get this from Sally's, or like I said, your local beauty supply store. And before you start sewing on the bundles, make sure you just take it off and try it on and see where you at, and see how the wig is laying on your head, just to be sure, because you don't want to construct the whole entire wig just to take it down and start over. This is the elastic band on the wig cap that I was telling you guys about. Do not sew through that. I start right at the peak of that frontal, and I basically go in a U shape. I have a video showing you guys how I sew through the band and through the cap years ago. But with years of experience and making so many of these wigs, I just recommend that you guys don't do it, because it's going to make your wig shrink. I go in a U-shape pattern with the first bundle, and then when it's time to close, I start to go basically from side to side. It's like a horseshoe shape, just to close up the wig, and it will close up very seamlessly. You won't have to worry about seeing any ends of your wefts poking out or things like that. Now, it's totally up to you how you guys want to make your wig. I am not cutting my wefts, but if you want to cut your wefts, you can cut your wefts, okay? Long as you know that you're going to have some shedding and you take care of your hair, it's totally fine. It's not the end of the world if you cut your wefts. I get so tired of people talking about don't cut your wefts. I mean, people cut their wefts because they want to. It's not the end of the world. Your wig is not going to fall apart if you cut your wefts. I end up only using 2 bundles for this install. So I actually had some hair left over from, I don't know where this hair was from, but anyway, I just needed a little bit of hair just to close in that part because I didn't want to start cutting into a whole bundle if I'm not going to use it. So this is just 2 bundles and the hair is so full. And because the frontal is 13 by 6, I really didn't need a whole bunch of bundles. So I used 2 bundles just to give me a nice natural full look. And once you get done with that, you guys, go ahead and cut away that excess cap. I do not cut through my band. I keep that band because I can use it for another wig. I can use it for something else. This wig is probably my favorite wig of all times. Like, not all times, but like in a very long time, because look at all that parting space. Like, it is so natural. I probably won't ever do any other type of frontal besides a 13 by 6 because why? I did customize it, you guys. Click the link below to see a detailed video on how I plucked the hairline and all of that. I took it back, y'all. I put some flexi rods in it because I just wasn't for curling all of this hair. I've been wearing this hair for a long time. I'm so behind on everything, but I've been wearing this hair for a little bit and it already has some curls to it. So I just kind of threw some flexi rods in there and curled the front. I did my edges with some foaming wrap and I did use the Got to Be Glue gel for this, and I will leave a link below so that you guys can see how I get my baby hairs and everything on fleek. I basically do the same thing in all my videos with the install, so click the links below so that you guys can see details on all of that, and that way you won't have any questions. If you do, just check out those videos. So this is pretty much it. The hair is gorgeous. It don't really hold a curl for too long, so that's the only downfall about it. Other than that, it is a beautiful texture. It's just very natural and I love everything about it. Like, this is probably one of my favorite wigs. I've been wearing it forever and people on Snapchats and Instagram have been asking me. So here it is, My First Wig hair bundles and lace frontal. I'll leave all the details below. Check out those videos, you guys, and give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.